Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and welcome to another music collection update. So let's just get into it. So first up is the compilation album, the self-titled compilation album, Infernal Death by the black and thrash metal band Infernal Death. Um, yeah, it took me a while to actually find one of these. This compilation is limited to 350 copies. So yeah, it's pretty hard to find. Um, I don't think I did a review on it, but I think at a previous music collection update I did show. I do own an original copy of their first demo. But anyway, this compilation contains that demo as well as a previously unreleased demo. Of course, their first demo being from '89 and the previously unreleased demo being from '83. Plus a bonus track on here, which is sort of sandwiched in between the first and second demo. So it's a bonus track called Bringer of Evil, which I believe was either a live track or a random rehearsal track. Anyway, but yeah, really awesome, underrated black and thrash metal band from Texas, who unfortunately didn't really last that long. I think that lasted from like 1989 to around '97. Yeah. It took me a long time to track down one of these compilations. Again, due to the fact that it's a very limited number copies. Yeah, but I really am really glad I finally found one of these. Yeah. All right. Next up is another thing that I excuse me. Is another thing that I was very surprised that I found. And that's a re-release of the Celtic Frost EP Emperor's Return. Now this was, at least to my knowledge, previously a re-release that was only accessible if you got like this gigantic box set that now goes for a lot of money. But the box set originally, I think, had like Morbid Tales, this to Megatherion, or was it just the first couple records, or did it have all of them? I can't remember. But it was a box set that was pretty expensive when it was released, and now it goes for ridiculous amounts of money on eBay and Discogs. Previously, this EP is that box set was previously the only way to get the re-release of this EP. I actually was just at a random store, not random store, but I was at a store called FYE. They usually, have some music and collectibles and stuff like that. I go there once in a while. They're not too close to where I live, but that's why I don't go there that much. But anyway, and I was surprised that they had this one because, again, I hadn't realized that this was re-released again, and this time, individually. But also because, for the most part, the metal music that they have there is like the more like mainstream, sort of like more, I guess, popular and mainstream metal bands. So I was kind of surprised that they had any Celtic Frost released, release there. But I was glad that they did because I've been looking for this for a long time. I was not about to spend like $800 on like a box set just for one release. Yeah. All right. Next up is another compilation album, and that is Heavy Metal Like a Hammer Blow by Running Wild. Yeah, Running Wild is a super underrated band. Actually, they initially started out as like a traditional heavy metal band that sort of kind of sounded like sort of like a mix of traditional heavy metal and like at times sort of proto speed metal, sort of almost like full on speed metal. I don't know, sort of that early 80s, like 1980 to like around 84ish type of traditional heavy metal. Again, there's some speed metal elements thrown into the mix. But they actually then they changed their sound at one point. And they were technically the first pirate metal band, but yeah, their early stuff, like the first three demos, which is on this, which are the stuff on this compilation, and then their first full-length album, Gates of Purgatory. That early stuff is my favorite stuff they ever did. But yeah, this is actually a bootleg. There is an official version of this. It's only on cassette, and the cassette is, really hard to find. And if you do find it, usually it's like really expensive or it's not good condition. But yeah, I have heard this bootleg. This is actually how I discovered this band, is through this bootleg. Like on YouTube, I listened to this version on YouTube, and yeah, it sounds really, really good despite being a bootleg, and I think an older bootleg too. I don't think this is a more recent one. Like, I think, old. I think this is like maybe like 80s, 90s. I'll do a review on this probably tomorrow, but I'll show you. It definitely has the telltale signs of an very old school bootleg. But anyway, but yeah, a really cool compilation that again has their first 3 demos on it. But yeah. Oh, hold on. There we go. All right. Next up is a single, or I guess an EP. This was originally released as a single on cassette, but then they released it as like an EP, I guess. This is Transfixed in Limbo by Impure. A really cool sort of a blackened thrash / blackened death metal band. They do kind of sound like a weird in between blackened thrash and blackened death metal. They do definitely have the heaviness of blackened death metal, but there are some moments on here where they kind of sound a little bit more blackened thrash, but just a little bit. But anyway, yeah, I hadn't heard of this band until I just sort of found this at the record store that I go to. Thought it looked really cool, and so I just bought it. It wasn't that expensive. I think it was like $10, but yeah. All right, the last 2 things aren't albums, and only one of them is music related, but they're still really cool. First up is something that I had again, just like with the Emperor's Return EP, that release I didn't know was a thing, or that specific re-release, but it looks like NECA finally put out a Number of the Beast Eddie action figure. I own many NECA Iron Maiden Eddie figures. I own the Killers one. I own the Final Frontier one, the Power Slave one, the Power Slave Tour one, and I still don't have the Aces High Eddie yet, but and the Trooper one. But yeah, I own a lot of them. I really want to get the self-titled Eddie, from the first self-titled Iron Maiden album. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm really stumbling with my words today for some reason. But for some reason, for the longest time, NECA just sort of skipped over this. Like, they went from self-titled album Iron Maiden Eddie to Killers Eddie, and then went from there. They skipped over Number of the Beast Eddie for some weird reason for the longest time. And again, I up until when I just sort of came across this, I had no clue that they finally released a Number of the Beast Eddie. Because usually with anything Iron Maiden, I'm just sort of in the know about, but this sort of flew under the radar for me for some reason. But yeah, usually I'm on top of things when it comes to pretty much anything Iron Maiden related that gets released. But yeah, it's really cool. You do get a couple little extra things. So this is based off of both the album art and the single artwork, as you can see. You get the main Number of the Beast Eddie, but you have the little like things to sort of change it up to make it look like the single artwork. You know, the devil severed head there, and you can see the actual like devil from the main artwork in there. As well as the pitchfork for it, and there is a little bit of a what do you call it? Not background, just a little sort of like bit of terrain, I guess you could call it. What I mean is the fire, the hellscape on the bottom there, which you could definitely see better in the picture on the back here, right there. But yeah, just a really cool find that, again, usually I'm in the know about new stuff that Iron Maiden releases, you know, in terms of albums or anything, anything really. But again, this for some reason just kind of flew under the radar. Yeah, really happy that NECA finally actually released a Number of the Beast Eddie. All right. Lastly is another action figure, and that is Creature from the Black Lagoon action figure. Yeah, Creature from the Black Lagoon is one of my favorite horror movies, and I do own two other figures. One is a Diamond Select one, and the other one I don't remember the name of the company that'll release that other one. So this is my third one now. But I gotta say, out of all three of them that I own now, this one definitely looks the best. Like, excuse me, it looks the most accurate. It has it's the best sort of like quality. Like, it looks really good. I don't know if you could see it in this lighting, but I mean, you could clearly see it in the picture here. I just don't know if you could see the actual figure in the box. Yeah, it looks really good. It does come with two alternate faces. And then like a couple alternate hands as well. Alright, so that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.